at exploreHockingHills.com.
Now at 6:30,
our state is wounded right now.
4 people are dead, including the alleged gunman, after what officials say is the deadliest mass shooting in New York City in decades.
Plus, President Donald Trump returns to the U.S. just days before reciprocal tariffs hit U.S. trade partners.
And Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice asked for immunity before testifying in front of Congress. Newswatch starts right now. Welcome to Newswatch. I'm Talia Milowich.
And I'm Ty Carpenter. Thanks for joining us. We had a little bit of a heat wave this week, so I'm going to toss it over to our forecaster, Steve Nedlick, for the weather. Steve?
Yeah, guys, we really can't seem to get a break from this heat. It seemed like we were going to get a relief today as when we were looking at it over the weekend, but it keeps just kind of pushing back. So we still do have this heat advisory that we've been dealing with, but today we got kind of lucky. It wasn't quite as hot today with the air temperatures. We stayed in the mid to upper 80s. A big reason for that was a lot of clouds that kind of moved into our region early this morning, early afternoon, and that just kind of suppressed all that daytime heating that we would have gotten otherwise. And that's a really good thing because it's going to hold back these storms that we otherwise would see around this time, much like we saw earlier in this week. So all these storms are kind of staying off to the east. We could see a little bit of popping up of showers, but that's mostly going to stay away as we head into the overnight hours just because there's not enough daytime heating going on. Now again, these pop-up showers are going to be the name of the game, so we're just going to be looking at that as the week goes on. But these muggy conditions really aren't going to go anywhere, and this heat wave, again, just won't seem to go away. But we'll break down when it really is going to taper off as we head into our full forecast, so stick around for that.
With heat sticking around in our... An investigation is underway following a mass shooting in New York City. The suspect killed 4 people, including an NYPD officer, before turning the gun on himself. Police say he drove across the country to carry out this attack. Lee Waldman is in NYC with the latest.
There's still remnants left over from Monday evening shooting outside of the office building where it happened here in New York City. You can see the flags there lowered to half staff. There's broken glass and a growing memorial for the 4 people killed by the 27-year-old assailant. Police say Shane Devin Tamura carried out the attack after driving to New York City from Las Vegas. Authorities are working to determine a motive, but New York City Mayor Eric Adams says a suicide note was found in Tamura's pocket expressing grievances with the NFL and saying he suffered from CTE, a disease linked to head trauma. In the note, he asked for his brain to be studied. The NFL has an office in the building where this mass shooting happened. Mayor Adams says those offices were the target of Tamura's attack, but he got on the wrong elevator.
From our preliminary investigation, he took the wrong elevator bank up to the NFL headquarters. Instead, it took him to Rudin Management, and that is where he carried out additional shootings and took the lives of additional employees.
The shooting, the deadliest in New York City in 25 years, took the lives of 4 people, including an off-duty NYPD officer, Didarul Islam, a 36-year-old immigrant from Bangladesh who was on the police force for 3.5 years. Islam was in uniform while working security at the building. Police say he had 2 young sons, and his wife is 8 months pregnant with their 3rd. Wesley Lepatner, an executive at investment firm Blackstone, was also killed. In a staff memo, the NFL shared an employee was seriously injured. Police say Tamura used an assault-style weapon in the attack, fatally shooting himself before he could be apprehended by the police. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is calling for a nationwide ban on assault weapons in light of this attack. We're also learning that there's going to be a memorial here to honor those lives that were lost. In Midtown Manhattan, I'm Lee Waldman.
White House officials failed to finalize a trade deal with China. The 2-day meeting between Chinese and American trade negotiators in Sweden ended without a deal today. This means there's no clear path forward to prevent tariffs from surging again. Without an agreement, the United States and China will once again impose large tariffs on each other's imports starting August 12th. In a statement to media outlets, Chinese officials said even after a deal is made, both sides will continue to push for the scheduled extension. President Donald Trump wraps up a trip to Scotland with trade deals and international conflicts top of mind as he returns to the U.S. Karen Kafa reports from the White House.
President Donald Trump wrapping up an international trip on Tuesday, one that mixed his personal business endeavors with presidential diplomacy. Trump capped his visit to Scotland with the opening of a second golf course on one of his properties there, but couldn't avoid questions about international crises while on the links.
I look forward to playing it today. We'll play it very quickly, and then I go back to D.C. and we put out fires all over the world.
In remarks around the ribbon-cutting ceremony to open a new Trump-branded golf course in Scotland, the president again thanked UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer for joining him Monday for talks about trade and how to move toward peace in the Middle East amid the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Trump on Monday showed a break with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has said there is, quote, no starvation in Gaza amid Israeli restrictions on aid and as officials in the enclave report hunger-related deaths there. Trump saying there is, quote, real starvation there, promised to set up food centers in Gaza, saying, quote, we have to get the kids fed. And on Tuesday, he said he and Netanyahu are working together.
We're working together. We're going to try and get things straightened out for the world.
Trump this week has also expressed further frustration with Russian President Vladimir Putin and cutting a previous 50-day deadline for action on a peace deal with Ukraine to 10 or 12 days. Trump returns to the White House just days before a self-imposed deadline of Friday, August 1st to nail down trade deals with more than 200 U.S. trade partners. While abroad, Trump came to a framework agreement with the largest U.S. trade partner, the European Union. But in recent weeks, dozens of countries have received warning letters that they'll face higher tariffs unless they negotiate a deal. At the White House, I'm Karen Kafa.
Two top antitrust officials at the U.S. Justice Department were fired following a clash with leadership over a major tech merger. The conflict stems from the handling of a $14 billion merger between Hewlett-Packard Enterprise and Juniper Networks, two major rivals. The Justice Department initially sued to block the deal, citing anti-competitive concerns, but later reached a settlement allowing it to proceed. Sources say the two ex-employees disagreed with how the case was handled and were placed on leave before being fired for alleged insubordination.
The Trump administration is proposing a major rollback of a key climate policy that's guided federal environmental regulations for more than a decade. Today, the EPA announced plans to repeal a 2009 finding linking human-caused climate change to public health risks. The finding serves as the legal foundation for regulating greenhouse gas emissions from vehicles, power plants, and other sources. The EPA administrator called the reversal the largest deregulatory action in U.S. history. He also referred to climate change as dogma rather than science.
Thousands of low-income seniors could soon face unemployment because of funding issues for a long-standing federal job program. The Labor Department did not release more than $300 million in funds for organizations participating in the Senior Community Service Employment Program. The program started in 1965 and helps low-income, out-of-work seniors return to the workforce. Several participating nonprofits say they've had to lay off seniors and other employees. A Labor Department spokeswoman said the agency will provide an update soon on the remaining funding.
Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice is offering to testify before Congress with significant conditions. Ghislaine Maxwell is asking for a formal immunity grant and for the interview to take place outside the correctional facility where she's serving her 20-year sentence. House Oversight Chair James Comer subpoenaed Maxwell to testify next month. Earlier this week, President Trump declined to confirm if he would pardon her. Some lawmakers say the Justice Department should focus on releasing the case files instead of Maxwell.
She is a convicted sex abuse trafficker of children seeking favors from Trump. Maxwell is worthless in credibility and factual support because all she's doing is angling for pardon, and she certainly doesn't deserve it.
Maxwell's attorneys say if her demands are not met, she will invoke the Fifth Amendment. Her attorneys point out Maxwell is appealing her conviction, and anything she says before Congress could compromise her case. A committee spokeswoman said she will not be offered congressional immunity.
Ohio's sales tax holiday is expanding this year. Starting Friday at midnight, restaurants and stores won't charge sales tax for almost any purchase under $500 for 2 weeks. That's 4 days longer than last year's. The tax break started as a 3-day back-to-school event, but now expands far beyond that. The break applies to all products except for alcohol, vape products, tobacco, and anything containing marijuana. Last year, the state estimated the tax break would cost nearly $600 million, but the total came out to only about $120 million. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help locating a missing woman. 48-year-old Laura Mickey Elliott is 6 feet tall and weighs around 197 pounds. Elliott's family last heard from her July 11th, but she wasn't reported missing until yesterday. Officials say Elliott left a rehab facility earlier this month in Portsmouth to live with a man identified as Stephen E. Richards. Law enforcement interviewed Richards, who said Elliott was last seen walking toward U.S. Route 35 after a disagreement. If you have any information about Elliott's location, you can call the number on your screen.
The Nelsonville Water Department issued a boil order for parts of the village of Buchtel because of a water line leak repair. The boil order is in effect until 3 p.m. Thursday. Officials are asking residents to boil their cooking and drinking water for at least 3 minutes before consuming it. Affected areas are listed on your screen. Athens unveils its new chatbot, Benny the Athens Brick. Residents can ask Benny questions about upcoming trash days, how to pay utilities bills, and about community events. Benny is available 24/7 on the Athens City website.
Coming up, severe storms and high temperatures slam the Midwest and Northeast regions.
It's just as important as exercise.
Next on Newswatch, it's time to get your child back on track for the back-to-school season. Medical experts share ways to build a school sleep schedule for your kid.
It was another hot one today, but we are slowly getting some relief heading our way, so find out when we cool down next.
The epic story of the remaking of the Middle East.
We will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons.
They only understand the language of threat and force.
Trump is telling Iranians, when you negotiate with me, unconditional surrender.
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes.
The balance of power has changed dramatically.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
Welcome to the age of humans.
Extinctions didn't stop happening at the end of the Pleistocene.
That word extinction, it's the worst of all environmental sins.
Could you imagine that you are watching the last of their kind?
I think I just fell in love.
We are creating new tools that can be applied to stop extinctions from happening today.
The first thing that you need to change is the people.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
We tell stories.
To evolve. To explore.
And be loud.
Oh, that's just the best thing ever.
The American Revolution changed the world.
It gave people a sense of hope that they have an opportunity for freedom.
We need to work together.
Oh my God, it's delicious!
Thanks for spending part of your evening with us.
You are taking a look at footage of the Ohio University Lancaster concert grounds after severe flooding forced the Lancaster Festival to cancel several performances.
This is only the most recent flood to hit our region this summer. And it's not just happening here. Damaging hurricanes force winds tore through the Midwest and plains overnight.
Cleanup is underway as today more than 150 million people from the central U.S. to East Coast are now under moderate to extreme heat risks. Michael Yoshida has the story.
So there's the one that fell on the roof.
A wake of damage left across the northern plains and upper Midwest following violent thunderstorms Monday night.
There's a hole in the roof. Every time you looked out a new window, there's a new tree laying down, so it's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Debris scattering the ground as wind gusts top 90 miles per hour in some areas. Powerful winds knocking out power to more than 150,000 homes and businesses across Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin, according to PowerOutage.us.
There's probably 10 to 12 homes that have trees on them. Last night you had trees running across just about every road.
We had damage, but it could have been worse.
The storm's also producing several tornadoes and large hail in parts of rural South Dakota and Iowa. With the cleanup underway, it's another brutal day of heat for cities and towns across the country. According to the National Weather Service, more than 150 million people from the central U.S. to the East Coast are under a level 3 of 4 or level 4 of 4 heat risk Tuesday, with high temperatures climbing into the 90s and heat indexes soaring even higher.
Stay indoors, find the shade. It's been hot when we're out in the sun here. We walked over from Warwick, and we stayed on the shadow side of the streets.
A cool down is expected for much of the U.S. later this week. Lower temps that will also bring threats of more rain and thunderstorms, along with renewed risks of flash flooding in some areas already hit hard this summer. In Washington, Michael Yoshida reporting.
So Steve, we've been seeing some pretty hot weather recently. Today it wasn't too bad, so are we finally getting maybe some relief coming soon?
You know, we've been waiting on this front to move through our region for the past few days. It seems like Wednesday night, Thursday morning is when we're going to see that relief, but for right now, we're still pretty warm, because if we take a look at the heat map right now, we're sitting at 88 degrees, which, to your point, is not as bad as we thought it was going to be today, because we had a lot of clouds that covered our area, and that really didn't allow for the sun to really heat up the ground. But we're still looking at Cincinnati hitting 90, so other regions of southern Ohio are still warm, or as warm as we predicted, but the main driver of what makes it feel so uncomfortable out there is, again, this humidity, and that's what's giving all of this energy to these storms that just impacted these areas overnight. But what's the interesting part is that we keep getting this heat advisory extended. It was supposed to end Monday, and then it was another day on Tuesday, and then we even got it extended to 8 p.m. tomorrow. So we're really just waiting for this front to move through so we can really start to see these temperatures dip down. Now, we weren't given the amount of energy that we needed to really pop up those storms like we saw yesterday, which is a good thing, because all those clouds really didn't allow for our atmosphere to heat up like we have been seeing. So all these storms are kind of staying to our east. But if we look out a little bit, they're kind of just hanging out in Illinois. And the big reason for that is that front that moved through the Dakotas last night is kind of parked over Illinois now. And that's kind of going to be giving them some of that weather too. We're going to see some unsettled weather there. And then it's slowly going to make its way to us as we head throughout the rest of this week. Tomorrow, we thought that was when we were going to get the cool down, but now this front has kind of just taken a break and has stayed up north, and so we really won't see that relief until we get to about Thursday morning. Now the good thing is this front moves through Thursday morning, and it's not going to have that heat given by the sun during the day, so we're kind of going to dodge a bullet there in terms of our severe weather, and then it'll kind of just set up shop Thursday night, and it's kind of just going to give us some rainy, kind of unpleasant, but not as hot weather, so it's going to be dipping down big time. But if we look at tonight, we still have another night of warmer, humid air that's going to be making for an uncomfortable night's sleep, so make sure you close those windows and turn those fans on, because it kind of might be a warm, uncomfortable night. Tomorrow, last day, fingers crossed, of that heat, because this front's going to move through, but we have one more day, 95 degrees, and then another overnight low of 71, and mostly sunny skies. So unlike today, we didn't have a lot of daytime heating. Tomorrow, we definitely will, so it'll be a warm one out there. Now, this cold front's going to do a really great job of cooling us down, because if we look out about a week out, 6 to 10 days, we're going to be right at average as opposed to these 95-degree temperatures. So we're going to be sitting at 85, 86 degrees, which is going to be wonderful compared to what we've been dealing with. We're going to be dealing with some rain from this front, but it's slowly going to taper off as we get to about the weekend, and that's going to give us possible thunderstorms early Friday, but then those are going to taper off, and it's looking like we're going to have a beautiful Saturday and Sunday, albeit kind of chilly from what we've been experiencing, but those overnight lows are really what we're going to be keeping an eye on, because we're going to be in the 50s again, and that humidity is also going to go out the window. So after we get through tomorrow, we're going to have much more comfortable weather, so that's absolutely something to look forward to. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Steve. Nearly $10 million worth of birth control purchased with U.S. taxpayer money might be destroyed instead of being sent to women overseas. Now that the U.S. Agency for International Development has been dismantled, the State Department says the current plan is to incinerate the birth control. Officials say it will cost $167,000 to destroy the supplies, which include copper IUDs and birth control injections. Belgium officials say they are trying to find a way to save the stock. The U.S. government previously turned down an offer from an organization to pay for the shipping and repackaging of the items.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announces plans to overhaul a national program compensating people injured by vaccinations. Kennedy is a known critic of the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. In a social media post yesterday, he described the program as corrupt and inefficient. He previously argued the program ignored its mandate to quickly and fairly cover vaccine injury claims. Analysts say Kennedy's efforts could open the door for HHS to support debunked theories that vaccines cause autism, while also casting doubt on other vaccines for diseases like COVID-19 and HPV. With the summer winding down and the school year inching closer, it's time to get your students' sleep schedule back on track. Mandy Gaither explains how to make a school sleep routine for your child.
In the classroom, the recipe for success starts before your student even gets to school. One of the main ingredients is sleep.
It's just as important as exercise and nutrition when it comes to children's ability to learn and grow and thrive.
Dr. Caroline Weingart with Nationwide Children's Hospital says if your child's sleep routine was derailed during summer, you're not alone. But you can start to reset that routine before school starts. Walk back their bedtime, but do it gradually.
Moving the bedtime up 15 minutes every night for 1 to 2 weeks until they're going to bed at the time that they'll be going to bed during the school year is one way to get them back on a normal sleep schedule.
Weingart says to make sure all phones and other devices are put away, ideally at least 1 hour before bed, in order to get their brain into sleep mode. She says to also focus on what time they wake up, have them start getting out of bed at the time they'll need to for school. While she says it's okay to sleep in a little on the weekends, keep their wake-up time within an hour of when they get out of bed during the week.
So if they normally get up at 6:30 during the school week, get them up by about 7:30 on the weekend if possible, just to make it a little bit easier come Sunday night when it's time for them to go to bed.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Next, Americans are feeling better about the economy despite uncertainty over President Trump's tariffs.
CasualWorks was not designed, created, or maintained by people who studied disability. They're people who studied opportunity. If a person has very limited movement and can make little teeny circles, there's a place for you. The idea of workers contorting themselves to a job is one business model. Our business model is that the job responds to the worker.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
The British Empire, the biggest there has ever been, ruled over a fifth of the world's land surface and almost a quarter of its people. But how did a tiny island off the coast of Europe claim power over so much of the world?
These questions are today more contested than perhaps ever before.
For some of us, the struggle never ends.
I know he's not easy to work with, but now I need you to step up.
You're not looking for one killer, but two.
You don't believe that a death can be transformational?
We're probably dealing with a psychopath.
We have to catch who's behind this.
You should have called me. I did. Yes, you did. I must have ignored it.
Two of the largest U.S. railroads plan to merge in a $72 billion deal that would create America's first transcontinental freight railroad. Union Pacific, which serves the western U.S., and Norfolk Southern, which serves the eastern U.S., announced the plan today. Rail customers are concerned any merger could result in service problems and supply chain disruptions. But the railroads promised the deal would benefit their customers. The deal is not yet finalized.
The job market is taking a turn for the worse. New data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows hiring slowed down in June, and job opportunities for U.S. workers shrank. Last month, there were an estimated 7.4 million job openings. That's down from more than 7.7 million the month before. The number of open jobs at the end of June was about what economists expected. Hiring was also down, with last month seeing the fewest number of hires since June of last year. Despite the downward turn in the job market, consumers are feeling better about the U.S. economy. That's likely because the Trump administration's recent trade agreements are helping Americans feel more confident. The conference board reports consumer confidence climbed 2 points this month to a reading of 97.2. This is an increase from the hit it took in the spring, when Trump unveiled massive tariffs threatening to jack up prices and weaken the labor market.
Still ahead, the polls are open. You can now cast your vote for which furry friend should be Jackie O's spokesanimal.
Next time on The Great American Recipe.
It's time for everyone's favorite round, the recipe swap.
I immediately panic.
Never heard of that?
I've never stuffed a fish. Whoa.
This is what the challenge is all about, to get out of your comfort zone.
How's it going? I know you weren't expecting this today.
A little sash. Put that in the middle and crimp it. Yes.
It takes a village.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
On the next episode of Patty Hinich Explores Panamericana, I continue on my journey inspired by the Pan American Highway and head to Alberta, Canada.
This is so much fun.
Where old West traditions collide with vibrant immigrant cultures, from the ranch life of a Hollywood legend.
I want to go act in a Western.
And warrior women reclaiming their heritage. It's time to hit the trail.
Friday at 10 on WOUB.
I love it.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery.
I love it.
Welcome.
Whoa, Nelly.
Let's set this palace
On fire.
I love it.
Welcome to the News Hour.
What does it mean politically?
Oh.
Fasten your seatbelt. I love it. I love it.
Delighted to hear it. You make a good team.
This is the moment that you've been waiting for.
On your marks, get set,
go!
Discover extraordinary lost worlds.
I know scientists that would give their right arm for this.
This is heaven. Hope y'all ready.
The nominations are in, and now it's time to head to the polls. Starting today, you can vote for Jackie O's 2025 spokesanimal for the Underdog Rescue Brew Contest. Athens County Humane Society is partnering with Jackie O's Brewery for the second year in a row. There are 154 rescue animals in the running, including a horse and a donkey. As of now, Kush is in the lead with 309 votes, but there's still plenty of time to cast your ballot. Every vote costs $1, and all proceeds go to ACHS. If your pet wins, they'll get their name and picture on a limited edition rescue brew can. Polls close midnight August 11th, and the winner will be notified August 12th. So there are a lot of animals. I looked earlier, there's a lot of dogs, some cats, and then obviously the donkey and horse. Who are you guys looking to win?
Well, I'd probably go for the donkey, but Steve, honestly, if someone were to take their pet for a walk this week, the heat might stray them away, you think?
No, definitely. But if we take a look tonight, it might be a good night to take your dog or donkey for a walk because we're going to have an overnight low of 71, but that rain's going to stay away. Looking at the rest of the week, once we get through tomorrow, we're going to cool off and slowly get rid of this humidity, so definitely something to look forward to.
That's all for this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Talia Milowich.
And for Steve Nedlick, I'm Ty Carpenter. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next.
Support comes from